Welcome to our new video on our secondary school RSHE curriculum package. This package is coming out in line with the RSHE guidance that came out in 2025, which schools will need to implement by September 2026, which creates the new framework that replaces the old 2022 RSHE framework. So with our PSHE package, it's completely different from before. We start off by providing all of the schools with an 11-page leadership guide, which just takes you through how you can implement the 2025 statutory RSHE guidance, and it kind of shows you some of the main changes. As you'll fully be aware that the new RSHE curriculum is much broader and more detailed than 2021. However, it's largely in line with the draft proposed expansions that we'd seen come out a couple of years ago. But the key differences are that the final explicitly names certain issues. For example, incel culture and choking are now named in there, and it frames the teaching in a slightly more open way, since they did actually remove the requirements of age restrictions, which were going to come out in the draft proposal. And obviously there's a huge focus now on challenging misogyny, addressing online harms, which would include obviously AI, deepfakes, porn-fueled behaviour as well, and trying to help foster ethical and respectful relationships. So this represents a significant evolution of the curriculum from the previous statutory guidance, which is why our new package kind of fits in with all of that. Provided within the package, we have got an Excel mapping document similar to before, and all of our new lessons, as you can see here: loneliness, sextortion, deepfakes, peer pressure, AI-generated images, vaping, antimicrobial resistance, have all been mapped along here. So you get your learning objectives. We also allow for literacy as well, and then not only that, it's now mapped against the new framework here. As some of you will be aware, there's a completely new topic within the statutory health framework, which is personal safety, which wasn't there before, T7, as you can see there on the bright yellow. We also map all of our lessons against careers, SMSC, protected characteristics, and British values as well. How does our package line up? We've got six key core themes that run throughout all of the different year groups from year 7 to 11. If you decide to buy the sixth form package, they continue on to year 12 and year 13. Each core theme is represented by a colour, a logo, and runs throughout. So you've got celebrating diversity and equality, relationships, sex education, life beyond school, rights, responsibilities and British values, staying safe online and offline, and health and well-being. How the unit's structured: you essentially get 6 to 8 lessons. These make up a unit, and you get 6 units per year group, and you get all the content for all of them. What's included within a unit? Well, not only do you get the lessons, you get an assessment, you get activities, you get worksheets, you get a bespoke student work booklet that some schools will use to help support their pupil premium or SEND students. Others will use it for all of their students. You get optional homeworks and classwork projects in Key Stage 3. And with Key Stage 4, we kind of encourage more of the thoughtful homeworks. We also include a variety of bonus resources as well. So we have different approach to assessment framework. We've got, not only do you have the workbook that's the end of unit quizzes, we obviously have confidence checkers where you can review the learning objectives at the start and end of each lesson, or you could approach that in a kind of thematic approach and do it at the end of each unit. We have included some graduation portfolios, and we currently have an app as well, and we have included an assessment criteria for all of the Key Stage 3 homework projects. So it's completely up to schools how they would like to assess the progress in PSHE. Within your head of department support folder, we provide a lot of extra documentation. So we've got a parent's guide to PSHE and RSHE. We also provide parent-friendly materials that you can send out to the parents and put up on the school website as well, as we would like to make sure that our package is completely transparent with parents. We provide all of your Excel mapping documents as we've previously looked over. We've also got an audit document, and we have curriculum learning journeys as well that kind of cover everything you need as the head of department. We, as previously mentioned there, we've got our assessment framework, but we also have little guides to all the different kind of themes, core themes. So this core theme here, as you can see here, is our relationships and sex education theme. We've got some summary documents there. A lot of schools like to publish those on their website. Again, just creating that kind of dialogue and framework with the parents. Here you can see that currently our PSHE curriculum isn't just PSHE really. You actually have got careers in there, you've got enterprise in there, you've got SMSC in there as well. An example of our year 10 PSHE curriculum you can see on the right, and the 6 core themes that are running throughout. If you'd like to know a little bit more about all of the detailed lessons within this package, you can download our free learning journey guide, which will be available on our website, or just drop us an email and we'd be more than happy to share that with you. If you decide to go on and purchase our sixth form package, we have different units for all the different year groups there, and you can see how the core themes also go on. Now, when you receive the files, you received a detailed file network which is sorted very nicely for you. As you can see here, you receive all the files here where you can read your leadership guide, and then you can dive into all the different year groups, into the new content. So taking for example here, if you went into year 7, you'd see the 6 different units. You can decide which order you want to teach those units in, or go as they're stated there. Let's say we click into managing change, we find we've got our 5 folders, which will be in all of them. We've got our lessons, we've got a project, we've got a quiz, we've got our assessment, and we've got the optional workbook bullet. Let's say we click into lessons, you've got the lessons all numbered here, so we provide them here. Let's say we clicked into our first lesson here. What is PSHE? There is our lesson. Teacher can open the lesson and crack on with it. If they've got a worksheet, they can look at the worksheet and can decide whether they want to print it or not. Worksheets will be included in the workbooklets, so if you do print the workbooklets, there's no need to print any worksheets at all. And then you've got your optional assessment there as well. Moving on, we have created a lot of new topics here, obviously in line with the statutory framework that's just come out. So here is an example of one of our lessons, what is sextortion, and you can see here a little example of all the different slides that you get there. We provide everything in a fully editable format, so if you want to take bits out, you want to change things, particularly with some of our careers lessons, you might want to use local LMI information as opposed to we've used kind of London South East centric. You can absolutely change that, and you can modify and adapt. We find a lot of our schools that have got SEND students like to take things out and mix things up. They might also like to break up some of the lessons into smaller chunks as well, so they can spend a bit more time on certain activities. Other schools that don't have dedicated 1 hour a week for PSHE like to chunk down our lessons and deliver them in form time and in other ways. Completely up to you how you want to use them. As you can see here, we've got topics from menstrual and gynecological health down to the role of pharmacies, down to peer pressure and risk taking, virginity testing, all sorts in there, which all these topics would not have appeared before in the old framework. Again, within the head of department folder, you will receive a set of subfolders within them. As you can see here, they're numbered 1 to 8. We then give you the new mapping, and we give you a sample 3 eyes document as well. Within there, I've just given you an example. I've opened the parent-friendly material folder, folder number 5. Within that, you get a bunch of documentation and another subfolder. So here we've got a parent's guide to RSHE. We've got an intent document, the way it's designed, curriculum mapping, an audit, an overview, a learning journey, and then on top of that, we've got sample curriculum materials so the parents can look through lessons and bits and bobs as well. Here on the side is another example of one of our lessons, what is deepfakes, and you can see all the different slides that are provided there with the wide range of activities that are provided. We also have optional workbooklets. You do not need to use the workbooklets when you're provided with these. However, some schools like to use them. They like to use them to help support, as I mentioned before, the pupil premium or the SEND students, or they might have the budget and the photocopying to be able to print them for every single student. If you do use the workbooklets, it can help whisk through the activities quicker if you're short on time for the curriculum for PSHE, because obviously a lot of activities therefore are scaffolded, or instead of waiting for students to draw a grid or to kind of write things out, it's kind of already done for them and you can get stuck straight into the topics. A lot of schools will use the before and afters. You can see there's one here and one at the end here for assessments, so they can use one colour or 2 different highlighters to highlight before and after here, and they've got the SPAG assessment and feedback here as well, built within the workbooklets. This is a Year 11 workbooklet, which goes for the unit, Adult Health and Looking After Yourself. Here is an example of one of the lessons. You'll see most of the lessons will start off in the same way. You'll have the theme, the title of the lesson, the date automatically comes up with the day that you open the PowerPoint, which is another nice little touch. You might have some quick starter hook activities, which you can do while you're getting your while you're doing your register and getting everything else sorted in the room. You've got your learning outcomes and the new vocabulary that students will come across. Slides will be, some will be information slides, as you can see here, with some interesting facts on there. Others will have activities on and kind of mixing things in. A new thing we have also adopted in, we've hidden these slides that will only be available for the teachers to see, not for the students. If there is a particularly sensitive topic, we may have included some extra teacher notes on there. They will either be in the notes sections of the PowerPoint, or if we deem fit, we will have got an entire slide which will be hidden from the students, which just reminds people there. So it adds in kind of a CPD. This is particularly useful for your non-specialist teachers that may be doing some of the delivery. On top of everything else that's within the curriculum, we've also got some extra kind of guidance and CPD documents for helping teachers kind of understand the differences with the new statutory framework from the old one, because it has been 4 or 5 years since we've had a significant change in the curriculum. So this will help kind of the teachers and the head of department do that. So we've got a document on the inclusions and exclusions in the final guidance, because this is different from the draft guidance that we've had for a fair while, for nearly 18 months actually. We've also got a comparison document so you can see the changes. So if you're trying to adapt your old curriculum with the new, you can kind of see how to do that. And then we provided some more detailed updates as well. If you're interested in this package, you can just drop us an email. We accept purchase orders. You can go on our website. You can place an order on there as well. We've got another document I just wanted to mention. I forgot it from before, which was about the differences in parental rights to do with withdrawal and transparency of your curriculum as well. It's really useful actually to read. That's included in there. And so I'd just like to leave it with some of our ground rules that we've set down for PSHE as well. The students will come across these in various lessons. But hopefully you have found out a lot about this, and you might consider using us as your provider to ensure that you're compliant with the September 2025 for implementation in 2026 RSHE curriculum.